Hi everyone, today's April 2nd. This is basically the second half of a lesson that was supposed to be kind of together. Yesterday you did the sonnet worksheet, got introduced to what a sonnet is, and now today we're going to look at a specific sonnet within Act 1, Scene 5 of Romeo and Juliet. Now so far, here's what we have. Romeo has been in love with this girl, Rosalind, who doesn't love him back, and he's actually never even really talked to her. So his friends have come up with the solution to try and find him someone new to fall in love with. He claims that could never happen ever because there's no one as beautiful as Rosalind. On the other hand, Juliet is being told by her parents that she has to marry this one guy, Paris, that she doesn't like. And she's resolved that she's never going to marry anyone ever for any reason. Now, in general, both Romeo and Juliet's families handle their situations poorly. Romeo's parents don't understand the idea that he's in love and he needs some help and he needs someone to talk to and figure things out with, and they're very distant parents. On the other hand, Juliet's parents are like way too involved. They're overbearing. They're always telling her what to do, and they don't realize that she actually needs a little bit of space. Now, both of them show up at this party that's happening in Act 1, Scene 5, and both of them are going, my life is never going to work out. I'm not going to be able. Romeo thinks I'm never going to be able to find somebody else. Juliet's thinking, man, can I just get this Paris guy to leave me alone? And that's when they meet. Now, Romeo will begin here. This is around line 43. Has this reaction when he sees Juliet. He says, "Oh, she doth teach the torches to burn bright. It seems she hangs upon the cheek of night as a rich jewel in the Ethiop's ear. Beauty too rich for use, for earth too dear. So shows a snowy dove tropping with crows, as yonder lady o'er her fellow shows. The measure done, I'll watch her place of stand, and, touching hers, make blessed my rude hand. Did my heart love till now? Forswear its sight, for I ne'er saw true beauty till this night." And we're actually going to skip ahead. He gets interrupted, but he does continue down here, and he's still talking. He says, "If I profane with my unworthiest hand this holy shrine, the gentle sin is this: my lips, two blushing pilgrims, ready stand to smooth that rough touch with a tender kiss." Now, he, you could say, is overreacting just a little bit to seeing Juliet. But right here, on the last page, at the beginning of his statement, line 43 that goes through 52, those 10 lines are the beginning of a very broken, very backwards sonnet that's 14 lines. So 10 of them are here. He gets interrupted, and then the last 4 to make 14 lines are later included from basically lines 92 through 95. Now, there's a couple things here that I think Shakespeare is trying to point out to us. Number one is the fact that he gets interrupted, right? So most of the time, sonnet should be just 14 consecutive lines. Romeo does not have that luxury. He thinks he's very in love. He thinks that he's pulling off this perfect sonnet, making everything great, expressing himself perfectly, and that he's found true love. I think, however, Shakespeare is giving us some suggestions that the opposite is true, mostly with the fact that, notice this, he actually messes up the rhyme scheme of a sonnet, right? So night and bright rhyme with one another. Ear and dear rhyme with each other. So every other line is supposed to rhyme. It should be A, B, C, D, C, D would be the rhyme scheme as we saw yesterday in the sonnets. But what we see here is the rhyme scheme A, B, C, C, D, D, which is not how it's supposed to be. And he actually messes it up more, where at the end, it's actually supposed to follow that pattern of, like we said, A, B, or as we saw in yesterday's handout, I'll show you this again. At the end of the poem, the last 2 lines should rhyme with each other, even though it's been every other line throughout the rest. But here at the end, he actually switches back, and hand manages to rhyme with stand, and this rhymes with kiss. Now, what I see from this is that his entire 14-line sonnet is actually upside down. He has the end at the beginning and the beginning at the end. He has the top at the bottom and the bottom at the top. Now, what we call this when someone's is in love is being head over heels, right? I think that's what Shakespeare's trying to express with Romeo not being able to eloquently express himself. However, he is saved, in a sense, by this. So this is where he actually meets Juliet, and he starts off what ends up being a new sonnet, hand rhyming with stand, this rhyming with kiss, and this is when he actually goes up to Juliet, and it's her turn to talk. Section 1 of this sonnet is his first lines. Section 2 is Juliet's lines. Good pilgrim, you do wrong your hands too much, which mannerly devotion shows in this. For saints have hands that pilgrims' hands do touch, and palm to palm is holy palmer's kiss. Now, she's rebuking him for him trying to kiss her. That's its own thing. But notice this. He has his first section of the sonnet. She has her second section of the sonnet. And then the third, final section is both of them together. And actually, they managed to pull off the rhyme scheme as a couple. Romeo responds, have not saints lips and holy palmers too? Aye, pilgrim, lips that they must use in prayer. Oh, then, dear saint, let lips do what hands do. They pray, grant thou, lest faith turn to despair. Saints do not move, though grant for prayer's sake. Then move not, while my prayer's effect I take. Now, I'm going to end it there. You can obviously see the rest of their interaction. They go on. But I think this is where the sonnet ends. Notice the sake and take rhyme with each other. And to this point, they've actually successfully, in their interaction, followed this exact rhyme scheme. Romeo for section 1, A, B, A, B. Juliet for section 2, C, D, C, D. And then together, throughout the rest, to and do rhyme, that's E and E. Prayer and despair rhyme, that's F and F. And then lastly, sake and take rhyme with G and G. That closes it off. And actually, I think there's some interpretations where this kiss happens right here in between these lines. And so their meeting, according to Shakespeare, according to his rhyme scheme, it seems to me that he's suggesting Romeo and Juliet's first meeting is perfect. They're perfect for each other. They create poetry. They literally make music together, and they top it off with a kiss at the end. All that to say, I know that yesterday when we looked at the sonnets, you might have thought, oh, these sonnets are okay, like that's fine. It's cool that they're doing that. I'm sure that it makes sense for it to follow these patterns, and it's great that they're using that artistically. However, what I want you to notice here is that beyond just following this pattern, beyond just Shakespeare making sonnets for the sake of making sonnets, I think he's actually using them to try to teach you something helpful about the text itself, about the characters in their interaction, about how Romeo feels when he sees Juliet, he's trying to teach you how they related to each other here, and all of it is on purpose. Hopefully that helps you understand what's happening throughout Act 1. Tomorrow, you're going to have your quiz on Act 1, so please prepare. Please finish page 12 of the packet based on reading Scene 5. As always, if you have questions, let me know in the office hours, and have a great day.